Hello. How are you? When you join on YouTube, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're watching on the replay on YouTube, say hashtag replay. I really love on YouTube when you guys leave comments and I can come back and respond to them. It just means the absolute world to me. So I wanted you to know that, and then I'm going to start recording. Hello, and welcome to the Colleen Gallagher podcast. We are a top 1,000 global health and wellness podcast with the intention to be a space that you can come and tune in to receive a frequency that will activate, educate, and empower you to begin living a lifestyle you love that supports you financially. If you are returning, oh, hey. And if you are brand new, well, hello and welcome. Health and wellness became a passion of mine because I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer at age 14. And after nine long years of suffering, I truly self-healed my body, mind, and soul. So in these episodes, I bring you my own voice, as well as people I meet along my journey to offer perspective, inspiration, and real life proof that when you choose to follow your dreams, you say yes to what is inside of your heart, that you will begin to create a lifestyle that is wildly impactful, fulfilling, and abundant beyond your wildest dreams. We cover topics from wellness, digital marketing, new age spirituality, global development, and pop culture current events as it relates to the Great Awakening. So get ready, tune in, subscribe, and make sure to leave us a review to let us know what you're loving. You can always email us on my website, www.colleengallagher.co, to request episode topics and let us know how everything's going. I love you, and thank you for being part of this collective community. I'm so excited for the day I get to meet you and give you a hug. And with that, I'm super, super excited for episode 104. We are in the house. And if you're watching on YouTube, yes, I have no makeup. Yes, my hair is still from yesterday. I brushed it. And yes, I'm wearing a hot pink sports bra with my bright purple nails. So yes, to all those things. It was no excuses for me not to show up. I really woke up, and I will get into it. I just started. This is the first time in a long time this has happened, you guys. And let me tell you how exciting this is. So the moon cycle, like when it's a new moon, a full moon, whatever that is, when it's a full moon, woman, we should just be starting our cycle, like our monthly gift, because it means that we're in flow with the universe. If it's too far after, it means that we were more in our feminine, like we flowed after. And if we were way too far before, it means we were pushing before the full moon. Excuse me, we were too far in our masculine. When you're right, like within the few days, like a day before, day after, like day of, then you're right. I have not been the day of like in a very long time. So I was so proud of myself. So I was like, yes, I'm finally like balancing and flowing my life out. And like, I'm harmonizing myself. So it was super cool. Like last night, it was after I went up and watched the full or the eclipse or whatever. It was so cool. It was so pretty. And literally it like came. And so anyway, I woke up this morning, and when that usually happens, or I should say every day, this is too much information for you guys listening, but I'm just going to share it anyway. Whenever it's the first day, because men do have, you know, what I mean by monthly gift is your period, but menstrual cycle, but men do have it too, but it's more emotional. So with women, right, when I get it like that morning or like the night of, like, I like to just like lay in my bed and kind of just like let myself be, like let everything like kind of, I don't know, just feel free, feel released, because it is a release of your body. It's release of toxicity. It's a release of letting go. It like is a big representation. So anyway, I was just so proud of myself that it was like the day of, like the moment after I went and watched it, I just felt it was so representation of like, I'm right where I'm meant to be. I'm right in alignment. Things are happening. And it was just so cool for me. So I woke up a little bit late. We're doing this about an hour later than I usually do it, but I'm super, super excited because I really had just one of the most profound weekends of healing, of awakening, of alignment, of renewal. Like you can tell my face, like there's no filter. If you're watching this, my face is like renewed. Like it literally looks like I am like glowing. It looks like I'm a new person. I feel like I just had a weekend where I met the depths of my darkness, the depths of my soul, the depths of like my demons. Like I went through it this weekend into like meeting the parts of me that I have so long rejected, forgotten, avoided. And let me tell you, to be sitting here today on Monday morning, May 16th, so motherfucking proud of myself, of like sitting with myself, being with myself. Whew, I'm ready. So I want this episode, because it's kind of what I went through this weekend, to be about rejection and loneliness. Um, because I think it's really important to talk about. And I really want to speak on it, especially in the online world. I think people get nervous to start a business, or people get nervous to put themselves out there on the online world of, what are people going to think of me? Are people going to like me? What if I offer something and it doesn't sell? You know, what if I don't know, all these just thoughts. And so, and a lot of times with dating, like I don't want to put myself out there because I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to tell the man what I really want in case it's like, not what he wants, like all these things, right? So, whew, let's get into it. So, last week this is going to be a really vulnerable podcast. I had some really interesting dynamics happen. One, there was a transition of a team member, which was, perfect and fine. And it probably needed to happen because for my business, I think for a long time, I've been having people that are with my business, and I've had to train them, and I'm training them and paying them. And it's taking up my time, and it's taking up my thing where I need to like really hire people that they already get it. You know what I'm saying? And I think I've maybe like had a limiting belief that if I hire people that get it, like maybe they're not going to be as loyal. I don't know. I just had these limiting beliefs. So that was like one thing that happened last week. Second thing is I had an amazing free training. It was so amazing. It was how to overcome heartbreak and trauma, experience unexplainable. That training was absolutely phenomenal. It was so deep. It was so fun. It was so profound. It was so awakening. Like I can't even really describe that training to you because it was just, wow, so, so incredible. So at the end of it, obviously every training I have an offering, and no one bought the offering, which was fine. It wasn't a big deal, but I thought it was a stellar offer. I still think it's a stellar offer. I had so many people reach out for the replay. It's now $33 if you want it. It's an amazing training if you want to go over, heartbreak, but no one bought it, which is very kind of weird for me because people usually like always buy my offers. Well, at the state of my business I'm at now. So I kind of felt like shit, whatever that it is. There's one client that I'm kind of moving through that we had to break the contract of what our 12-month contract was. And we had to figure out a way to move around that. So we're figuring out like how to do that. And it was causing me a lot of anxiousness because it's like, I want to be mindful of where everyone is in their life experience. And also like I'm running a business. And I think it was really hard for me because I felt like I was in a position where this person really made it difficult for me to like being compassionate and also being like, I run a business, like I have to do something, and even though it is a soul-led business, a heart-centered business, like it's still a business. And I think sometimes we as heart-centered people like think that it's bad. Like it's not bad. It's not personal. It's just, it's business and take care of business. And so anyway, I had to move through that. On top of this, there was like kind of then this weekend happened, right? And there's kind of like two guys I've been seeing or that I like. And one I have a longer history with. Well, both of them I'd say I have a history with. Like one's almost like a year history, maybe a little bit more now. And it wasn't always like, well, it was always like flirty, dating, like it was like that, but not like, yeah. And then the other one, it's, been a longer like years. So the one that's been like years, and on top of this, sorry, I was going to have a different guy that I met that I really, really liked that was going to come up this weekend for, a day or something. And because I really liked the other two guys, and like this other guy was like, oh, it's just not worth it because now I'm going to have like three people that I'm really involved with and there's emotions, and it's just too much. And on top of this, I felt like there were other guys in this dating app I was on that were like messaging me constantly and da da da. So I literally deleted the dating app because I realized it was too much energy. It was too much focus. Like it wasn't happening. And then there was like not these two guys that I like, but there was this guy was coming up and then two other guys that like are always messaging me. So 5 guys basically that are like involved in this basically. And so I basically told these 3 guys, not the 2 that I like really, really like or have a history with, but like, "Hey, it's just not gonna work. I don't have time," which is true, you know, whatever that it is. And so I canceled this hope in hopes to hang out with one of these 2 guys this weekend. And come to find out, I canceled these, you know, I canceled the plans with these guys and canceled whatever. And these 2 guys, one guy got invited by a woman he randomly met into a home in Palm Springs or something, but she's going to be gone and he's there. And she's like, just enjoy my home. It's like a beautiful home, I guess. And he asked if he could bring me. And she said, no, it's just, you know, for you, this time you need to like take care of yourself. And so I had a lot of feelings about this. I felt like if this was a man who really loved me and like he claims he does and really wants to spend time and I'm like giving chances to something, wouldn't he be like, hey, this is not a good weekend because he's traveling the next 5 or 6 weekends. And I'm like thinking, wouldn't he be like, you know, I really want to see this woman. This is how I felt, like in a way. And I was like, if a man really loved you, like this is what I felt. And even if not a man really loved you, this is what I would desire a man to do if that were to happen. You know what I'm saying? If a man really did love me, I would desire for him to be like, you know, I'm so excited that we're hanging out and talking again. And, you know, I'll go to that house another weekend, you know, like that's what I would desire. And I don't think it's crazy or bad to want that. So, right, I'm going to get to the punchline, but this created a rejection, right? That made me feel rejected. The other guy, he travels a lot and we like talk all the time. Like, I don't know, like very rarely, just 24 hours go by and we haven't connected, like very rarely. And so, like, he was traveling. And when he was traveling for a few weeks, I was like so excited to meet up again and see him and spend time with him. And you know, when he got back, I was like, hey, these are the days that I'm free. Let me know. And one day he couldn't because he had like an early meeting the next day. Another day, he basically like didn't get back to me and he, you know, tells me he's at dinner for 3 hours, which is like just beyond because I feel like, again, back to this, right? If a guy really wanted to see you, he would have like responded or made an effort. And so I brought this up, like, hey, like kind of in an aggressive way, but still I like brought it up. And um like I was like, okay, I'll try one more time. And I made plans this weekend, like asked, and they already had plans, so they couldn't. So now I'm feeling like so rejected, right? Because I just had a week of like one where I'm trying to figure something out with a client, two, know about on this offering or my free webinar, right? And then people did buy my bundle and then people did buy for Meow, my new course. And then now like 2 guys that I really like that I like canceled plans for, I feel like rejected. So I obviously could have easily downloaded a dating app again. I could have easily went out. I could have whatever, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit here with these feelings. I'm not going to do shit. And I'm going to sit here and really face my shadows of why this makes me so emotional, why I feel rejected, why I feel lonely, and like what's going on. And so I went really deep, right? And I found out the story I just related to of all these things that happened in my week. And there's a few more things I'm not going to go into, but those were like the big things where I just felt so unwanted. I felt so unloved. I felt so undesired. I felt so like I was making an effort to make memories. And I guess my love language is like spending quality time together, right? Because if you're not spending time together, like how can you make memories together? If you're not spending time together, like how can you touch each other? How can you like play and laugh? Like you can't, right? Like that's part of relating. And with my clients, right? Like if people don't enroll in what I'm doing, like I can't get to know them. I can't make a memory with them. I can't, you know, witness them through a transformation or guide them. And so I felt just really like lonely and rejected and sad and like so frustrated because I felt like I was doing all the right things on my end to like uh be available for love and be available for people and be available to like just be available. Like I felt like I was to people that I cared about, like, and it sucks when you're available and like someone else isn't available, or like you're like in your life, you're making decisions to make someone a priority, but you're not a priority to them, or that's how it feels like anyway. And so, I wanted to come on because kind of where I explored this weekend, and it's really important in this podcast episode, is I literally sat there in the depths of my soul when I'm feeling this pain, like when I'm feeling like so unwanted, so undesired, so unloved, so like not a priority, so like I don't matter to people that, are important and are who I have created a narrative of important, or emotional connection is important in my life. And just to feel like you aren't important, you don't matter to them, you aren't meaningful. And it's this pain that came with that. And I sat there and I thought to myself, there will be a day, Colleen, and I had to sit there like when I woke up in the morning and you're all alone every day this weekend. And I did go to the beach with a friend, but I had to sit there and be like, there will be a day when there will be someone here holding you. There will be a day when you get to wake up and someone would love to go on a hike with you or love to spend their morning with you. There will be a day when you'll get to cook breakfast together, or, like have kids running around, whatever that is. Like there will be a day. And you'll laugh because in this moment right now of where I'm fighting these negative thoughts, like not fighting, but accepting, I feel alone. I feel not good enough. I feel rejected. I feel whatever. I'm facing these right now. And then real time in the moment, changing these thoughts to being like, I'm so grateful to be here alone. I'm so loved. Like I love myself. Like I am worthy of all of my heart's desires. Like I was taking these very vulnerable, it like even makes me anxious talking about like these vulnerable, nourished, like parts of me that were really needing attention. They were really like rising to the surface. They were really like wanting to be held and to be seen and not to be shoved away. Like they didn't want to just be like, don't feel that. Let me go, drink, or let me go out, or let me go on a dating app. Like they didn't want that. They wanted to really be supported. And I sat there and I just like held myself. And I sat there and I just like was like, just because people didn't buy your offer doesn't mean that people weren't transformed. Just because someone didn't give you money didn't mean that, their life wasn't changed significantly. Just because someone maybe doesn't have money right now doesn't mean that later in life they're going to come back to you and share, whatever they're going to become, they're going to be ready for their transformation then. Like everything is on everyone's timeline. And I also had to deal with like the fear of facing like that money doesn't mean love. Money doesn't mean that someone loves you or likes you or, whatever. Money sometimes really people just don't have it at that moment, but they showed up to what they could and, created transformation that you have no idea what it's doing in their life. And so I had to like really hold these parts of myself, which were really like tender. That's the word I was looking for. Very tender, very raw, very vulnerable, very like almost like a pour of like pus, like pussing out of me in a way. Like it just needed to come out. And so, I wanted today, well, I didn't want to actually, I rather would have not talked about this and talked about something happy, but my dream last night, I'd had my phone off and it said, this is what I was going to talk about: loneliness and rejection. And so I just want you to know, wherever you are, loneliness and rejection is part of the process. And it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It doesn't mean that you're unlovable. It doesn't mean that even people that, you that are important to you, that you're not important to them. It doesn't mean that. Everyone has their own life and their own thing. And even the way that you may be feeling that, they may be feeling that as well about you, but neither party is communicating it, and they may be doing things to mask it up, to maybe feel like they don't have to miss you or have to, think of you, and I've masked it many ways before by going out or doing this. And this weekend was like, no, you're going to sit here in this bed and you're going to sit here in this moment. You're going to sit here in this tea, and you're going to sit here in this meditation. You're going to sit here on the beach, and you're going to face these moments of loneliness. You're going to face this fear of lonely. You're going to face this fear of what it would feel like to actually be rejected. And I sat in it. I sat with it. I was there and I was like, God, if this is what it's meant to feel like, and then I will sit here and take this pain so that I can feel the bliss of excitement. I can feel the bliss of love. I can feel the bliss that this will not impact me and influence my emotional state anymore. Like, if this is what needs to be felt, if this is what needs to be here so that I can move forward, so that I can finally feel liberated in anything that I do. It's not about the result. It's not about the outcome. It's about me just sitting there and expressing, if this is what I need to sit here and do, I will do it. And like, let me feel the pain so that it can come through and I can awaken through the other side. This is like how I was talking to myself. Like, I'm not joking you. This was like literally, I'm giving you verbatim what I was doing when this was arising. And then the other thing that would happen, right, when I would like say these things, like I'm feeling lonely or rejected or whatever that it was, like I would literally sit there and I would be like, no, that's not true. Like, that's actually not true. Like, whatever that thing is, whatever voice that is that's telling you that it's lonely or rejection or you're undesirable, like that's not true. And I would rewrite what is true. Like, this is what's true. Like, someone's just already had plans. Someone's already this, like, the right people are coming. You're being shown the messages for who people are meant to represent. You're being shown messages for detachment, for unattachment. Like, you're being shown what needs to be shown to you so that the right people can come into your life. You're being shown what's shown to you because the life you're going to live, the life you're yet to live, is going to be so incredible. And like, I did a live yesterday on Instagram. You can find it on YouTube as well, where I said, like, there's events that I was looking at. There's one Thursday night, and there's a woman that I follow that I really, really admire so much. And she gets invited to like Dolce & Gabbana private events, Philip Plain, like Milan Fashion Week, and just these really cool events. And I'm like, those are the events I want to be at. Like, those are the type of people, like I can see them, and everyone's so committed to their artists and their craft. And I was like, that's the events I want to be at. So why am I sitting here moping or sad about someone not hanging out with me, or about someone not being around, or choosing to go to Palm Springs instead of spending a weekend with me and waking up with me and cuddling with me, even though they're going to be gone for the next 6 weekends? Why am I going to be sad about that when there's going to be a day that these are the events I'm in with the man that I absolutely love? Like, why am I giving this energy? Because it's going to become so good. And it's not rejection. It's a redirection of my thoughts. It's a redirection of my energy. And if I can just sit here in this pain, and I can let it transmute, and I can see that it's for me. I can see these are messages, these are signs guiding me to love myself, to have fun by myself, no matter what, I'm going to be okay. I don't need someone to make me happy. I can sit here and go through it. If I could do that, like, I can do anything. And so anyway, that was my moment. That was my weekend on rejection and loneliness. And I want you to know, like, maybe a 3-step process of what I can give through this so that you can kind of have it. Is step one, when you're feeling lonely or rejection, don't try to bypass it. Don't like go on a dating app. Don't like go distract yourself. Just sit there with it. Sit there in presence. So number 1, don't avoid it. 2, sit there with it. Just sit with yourself. Because if you aren't willing to sit with yourself and your emotions and your darkness, how could you really do it? How could you do that with, like, if you can't do it with yourself, you wouldn't be able to sit with your spouse, with your significant other, with your, partner, with your child, with your friends. If you can't sit with yourself, you're not going to be able to sit with people you love the most when they need you the most. So sit with it. 3 would be real time realize, like, the repatterning. So what are the stories you're telling yourself? So for example, I feel so alone. I feel so rejected. I feel so isolated. I feel like no one wants me. I feel undesirable, which were all thoughts I was having, by the way. And then you want to go, is that really true? No. Okay. This is all for my highest good. This is all for my highest alignment. This is all happening for the greatest good of all. This is all happening for me. Like, you really want to like get deep into that. and changing it. So it's like, I am not alone. I'm here with God. I'm here with my spirit guides. Like, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I'm choosing in this time to love myself. I'm choosing in this time to accept myself. I'm choosing in this time to get more intimate with myself so I can be more intimate with others. Like, really diving into that, because that's really going to support you. Yeah. And where you want to go. And so I really hope this podcast serves you, or this episode serves you, because this is a really vulnerable and deep one for me. And I wish that I would have had, well, I did listen to some podcasts. It wasn't necessarily on this, but I hope that if you're out there and you're feeling alone and you're feeling rejected, I want you to know I love you and you are loved and you are accepted. And the right people will always make you feel more than enough. The right people will always, find a way to make sure you feel loved by them. The right people will always, through their actions, not their words, like show you, like guide you to feel great. If only, but you have to feel great first. Like, you have to tell people how they can make you feel great. Like, right. For me, it's like spending time together. Like, I'm not in a point in my life anymore where I just want to like text people and see them randomly, like they just stop by. Like, I want, like, hey, this is my schedule. This is your schedule. What works for both of us? Like, I don't want this like casual experience, I really, really don't. And you have to share that. Like, this is important to me. Like, spending time with you is a priority for me. And if someone can't reciprocate that to you, right? Just information that they're not the right one. So let go so you can move on to the right one. And it's not a rejection. It's actually for your highest growth. Like, you claimed what you want, you claimed what you said, and now the universe is showing you that person can't deliver it. So it's not rejection. It's literally guiding you to information you already claimed of what you wanted in this life. So, yeah, I just know this is a really deep one. And I highly recommend my third book, An Uncompromised Life. If you're struggling with this, here it is. It's on Amazon, or you can get it on my website, but I highly recommend this book if you're struggling with rejection and loneliness. This book really goes deep into it. And also, I have a workshop on my website that's called How to Overcome Heartbreak and Trauma, Experience the Unexplainable, and Truly Fall in Love. That's an amazing workshop that will change your life, especially if you're suffering with these feelings I talked about here. And I just want you to know, like, sit with yourself. It's not so scary. Like, after a weekend with myself of doing this, I'm like glowing, literally, if you see my face, like glowing. Like, I feel like I look like a radiant being. I just want you to know that when you sit with yourself and you come to peace with those parts of you that want you to hold them, not a woman, not a man, they want you to hold them. And when you can hold these tender parts of yourself, you can then teach someone else how to hold them when they're arriving within you. So, with that, I love you. Please leave a review. Please message me with any questions. Please share if this was useful or supportive or helpful on your journey. And then also make sure to follow me on social media, the Colleen Gallagher. We have so many amazing things that we're launching and creating that you can be part of to feel like you have a community, so I can guide you, I can transform you, you can invest into your education, and you are just so loved. You are so special. You are so accepted, and know you are exactly